What is up, guys? Manish Cap1 here. Going to be talking about some Season 14 items. I am here on the PBE for Preseason 14, as you can see. Here are my beautiful Void Sons, little grubs. They are so cute and adorable. Just want to give them a big hug. But that being said, I am here to talk about Season 14 items. I have a whole list of Season 14 item builds for us to go over. Things that I think will be very useful, especially in the start of the season, when people are going to be asking inevitably, hey, what do I buy? What should I build? What items are going to be good? What's the new build for Singed? There are, as you guys know, I'm a player who already in season 11, 12, and 13, even with the restrictive mythic system, and the fact that Singed just didn't really have that many good items in season 11, 12, and 13, or any good items, in my opinion. Even then, I was still trying to find builds that were unique and fun, that would cover all sorts of different situations for Singed, because at the end of the day, that's really what you want for a champion like Singed, who is so versatile, is to be able to itemize. Singed is the most versatile champion in the game when it comes to items and runes. And what you really want for a champion like this is to be able to build items on the fly to react to the state of the game, or to change the state of the game in favor for you. Because he can use so many different runes, because he can use so many different items, right? So I have a list of item builds here. This is obviously not going to be all of them, because we don't know for sure what's going to be good, what's going to be bad, what's going to be changed, what will be nerfed, what will be buffed. We don't know any of that stuff yet. But just currently today, December 22nd is when I'm recording this. This is what I have come up with so far for Season 14 builds. So we'll go ahead and get right into the first build here, which is the... I'll go back to the base here for you guys so I can... go you. So this is the first build up here, is the standard build. This is what I see us building basically every game. It is going to be, well, the most standard, right? With Singed, you don't really build the same build every game if you can avoid it, because there's so many different situations to account for. But if you don't know what to buy, this is the quote-unquote, in my opinion, what will become the standard build. So we have Liandry's, Riftmaker, Rylai's, Jak'Sho, Deathcap, and Swifties. And bear in mind that everything after Liandry's can always be changed, unless you're doing a different sort of cheese build, which I'll get to that later. But Singed is super versatile. He's the most versatile champion in the game when it comes to itemization, in my opinion, with access to, like, you know, 10, 20, maybe 30 different builds at any given point that you can pull out if you want to do that. But for this first one, the generalist build, the standard build that we'll call it, is going to be Liandry's, Riftmaker, Rylai's, Jak'Sho, Deathcap, Swiftness Boots. We can switch over anything else. Liandry's in Season 14 is going to be, let me pull it up here because my webcam's covering it. So Liandry's in Season 14 is going to be awesome, because Liandry's in Season 14 is going to be more similar, or almost the exact same, as old Season 10 Liandry's. The only difference is it only goes up to 6% bonus damage instead of 10% bonus damage on the Madness passive. It's called Suffering here. But the damage amplification only goes up to 6%, not 10%, and we'll see why here in a bit. And there is no bonus for crowd controlling enemies. The original Liandry's did have bonus damage whenever it amplified the burn whenever you dealt damage to an enemy who was crowd controlled, meaning that there was a lot of synergy between Liandry's and Rylai's, because you'd go Liandry's and then Rylai's would amplify your Liandry's even more. That's not here anymore. But that being said, this item is way better than Demonic. It's not even close. Such a huge portion of Demonic's power budget is, one, tied up in the fact that it has the thankfully they're getting rid of Demonic, but Season 13 Demonic, a huge portion of the power budget is tied up in the fact that you have to account for it getting AP from HP, and AP has a different value for every champion that buys it, because every different champion has different AP ratios, right? It's not the same as AD. With AD, even with the exception of Kalista, she's literally the only one. With the exception of Kalista, every single champion, when they buy AD, will always get at least a flat same amount of baseline value from that item from the AD that it provides, because it converts to their auto attack damage. With AP champions, not every AP champion has AP to auto attack damage conversion. So, well, there's a few, like I think Mordekaiser gets a little bit, I think Gwen gets a little bit, but the vast majority of AP champions don't have that. So AP means different things for different champions, right? So you would be thinking that this is 90 AP and Demonic is 75. This is way better. It's 15 more AP. That's not why it's better. The reason why this is better is because Liandry's has a higher percent max health damage burn, Demonic is 1.6 per second. This is 2% per second, so you have a bigger burn. And you also have the damage amplification instead of the HP to AP conversion, which this is way better. And let me explain why. So, Demonic in Season 11, 12, and 13 was balanced around the fact that you could stack it with the Season 11, 12, and 13 Liandry's, the Mana Liandry's, and that you could theoretically build both. So in my opinion, both of those items were kept in a weakened state compared to what we could potentially have. So in Season 11, 12, and 13, if you built Demonic and Liandry's, technically you would deal more damage than just having a Season 14 Liandry's. But you're paying for 2 full items, and one of them is not giving you health. Whereas Season 14 Liandry's is going to deal more damage than Demonic, but less damage than if you had Demonic and Liandry's, right? So while this is a much larger 1 item spike, it is a weaker 2 item spike compared to the previous max possible AP burn damage build. That being said, though, this is way better. The 2% max health damage burn will scale harder into the late game as well. So while you may have, that little bit of a fall off of damage, we weren't building Demonic and Liandry's every single game. And whereas with this new Liandry's, which is the same as the old Liandry's, I know it's confusing. We're gonna build this basically every single game. I don't think there's a single build where I left it off, is there? No, I have it in actually every single build. This is just gonna be the Singed core item. We haven't had an actual, really good core item in a long time because Demonic has kind of been garbage. We've had a core item, it just wasn't that good. Whereas this is actually good. It'll do greater upfront damage. It will do better scaling damage, and you don't have to have it be balanced around the fact that it's not stackable. You can't stack this with any other AP burn item because there is no other AP burn item. I don't even think there's another burn item in the game. I could be wrong about that, but I'm not going to go through the whole list and check. So it's a unique burn item because there's nothing else like it, so you can't stack it. And the value that you have on the item is the value that you have on the item. It's not being amplified by anything else. Like the same way, like how Demonic was, if you buy Demonic on Cho'Gath, then Cho'Gath gets 1 billion AP, right? It's not, you can't do that anymore because Cho'Gath's not going to get as much AP value out of Liandry's as you would for Demonic. So they're able to make this item stronger for those 2 reasons, while presumably it's going to be pretty balanced. If I had to guess, it doesn't seem that crazy. It's actually it's weaker than the Season 10 Liandry's, but still stronger than Demonic. So I'm cool with it. Going to be a very awesome, very fun item. So excited to finally have. It's my favorite item in the game, by the way. Is the original Liandry's. So I'm so excited to finally have it back. Also, check out how sick that Haunting Guy's art is. Ooh, so good. Yeah, very glad to finally have it back. It's about time that Singed got his baby back, and it'll be, if it's the standard build, and this is the standard core item, then you buy it first, right? Next up, we have a Riftmaker. Riftmaker will be 80 ability power, 350 health, 15 ability haste. It comes with 2 passives, one of which is called Void Infusion, which is the same thing as the old Demonic health for AP passive. 2% of your bonus health is ability power. This is the big one, though. Void Corruption. For each second in combat with enemy champions, you deal 2% bonus damage, up to 10%. At max strength, you gain 10% Omnivamp. And that Omnivamp is, by the way, it is not, when you hover over it, it says it's reduced to 30% effectiveness when dealing damage to minions or monsters. But the thing is, Omnivamp now in Season 14, unlike previous seasons, will be full effectiveness. This Omnivamp will be full effectiveness for your Poison Trail, which is a dot damage ability, and for area of effect abilities, which is really cool. So even though it's only 10% and it's only after you are in combat for 5 seconds, this will give you 10% Omnivamp. You'll actually be able to do some healing builds. This is why this item is going to be so important for Singed, in my opinion, for the damage application and the healing in Season 14. Gonna be awesome. That the Void Corruption passive as well, the damage does stack with the Liandry's passive, which gives you bonus damage. They're all differently uniquely named passives. So Liandry's is called Suffering for 6% bonus damage, and this is called Void Corruption for 10% bonus damage to get up to 16%. And technically, if you wanted to, you could also buy a Haunting Guys afterwards, because that one is called Madness for an additional 6%. But usually we're not going to do that because Haunting Guys only built into these 2 items. So we'll do Liandry's and Riftmaker for our plus 16 bonus damage, 16% bonus damage, and we'll have healing, we'll have bonus health as AP, we'll have a really solid 2-item spike here, and I'll go ahead and just show you that these do stack together. So watch my buff bar down here. You'll see there is Liandry stacking up, and there is Riftmaker stacking up, and they will see my Omnivent pop up here. There's the Omnivent pop up there, and that will give full healing on champions, which will be awesome from Poison Trail, and they will also fall off at the same time, around the same time. But yeah, they are unique buffs. They do stack with each other. They do work with each other, which is going to be awesome. And then we will just build. This is the most standard 2-item build for Singed, I think. It's just too good of an item to pass up, now that the healing will actually matter. And then we have 2 different sources of damage amp for plus 16, plus percent damage. It's going to be awesome. Super great core 2-item core build. Next up in the standard build, we do have Rylai's. So Rylai's is just the exact same. 400 health, 75 AP, 2.6k gold, 30% slow. That's it. All it does. Just solid core item build for Singed. We actually don't have that much ability haste in general at all over all of Singe's item builds, but not just all of Singe's item builds that I have here, but all items in general. Ability haste is cut down significantly in Season 14, which will be awesome, because one of the biggest problems, in my opinion, for Singed for the last 3 years, Season 11, 12, and 13, has been lack of access to ability haste, because we were building Demonic and Rylai's core, then we were building Demonic and Mythica's core, but Singed items just don't have a lot of ability haste in Season 11, 12, and 13, or I should say didn't, because almost over. Almost over. It's gonna be awesome. But now that everyone else has lower ability haste as well, the fact that Singed was always behind on the ability haste curve if he wanted to build the optimal items will mean a lot of good for Singed, because we will not be caught out without our ultimate constantly, without having to use the ultimate hunter rune, without having to rely on that, without having to rely on getting a super bloated mythic item second. That was never like the best option for us, right? So this will be awesome. An aside, sorry, next item after that is Jak'Sho the Protean, which is the same as current Jak'Sho, except that it is not going to have the like heal that that the current Jak'Sho gives us. A not a mythic item. It is 300 health, 50 armor, 50 MR, and after 5 seconds you increase your armor and MR bonuses by 30% till the end of combat. Yeah, I mean, so the whole, you can kind of see the theme of this build so far is just, hey, after a few seconds in combat, you're screwed, because I'm going to be a lot stronger after 3 seconds and after 5 seconds. I'm going to be a monster after 5 seconds. I'll be pretty great after 3 seconds with the Liandry's, but after 5, I have Riftmaker come online for more damage and healing. Then I have Jak'Sho for even more tankiness to help augment my healing. It's going to be pretty crazy. This is also the only item in the entire game, I think, I could be wrong on that gives armor and MR, except for Locket. Does Locket give armor and MR? I don't remember if it does. Let's check. Is Locket even on here? Yeah, Locket does give armor and MR. I believe it is the only other item to do that. That being said, though, Jak'Sho is obviously a way bigger item that's going to provide Singed with a lot more usability here. And because we're not locked down by mythics anymore, guess what? This is a build where I have Liandry's, which used to be a mythic, the Riftmaker, which used to be a mythic, and Jak'Sho, which used to be a mythic, all in one build, which is awesome. This covers, this is the great part about Season 14 having a return to the old itemization system, is you can just build what you need. I need tankiness, I buy this. I need damage, I buy this. I need sustain, I buy this. I need AP, I buy this, right? It's just like, it's so much better. I've made that point a million times, so I'll go ahead and move on. And then obviously last item here, the standard build is going to be Death Cap, because if you buy a tank item, your damage will be cut because you're not keeping up with your AP curve. So last item has to be Death Cap, which now gives 140 AP in addition to the 35% AP increase, which is very nice. So full item build with Singed, pop the art level 18. We will have 719 AP. That is not counting for the damage amp that we will get from these 2 items as well. So while it is a little bit lower AP with this tank setup here, I do have, or sorry, with this tank item here, I do have some different builds, including a full AP build that I can show you here in a second. So let's go ahead and talk about the next build. This has been the most standard Singed build, guys. So we'll talk about the next one here. Next one is the alternative standard build for Singed, which this is going to be basically the exact same thing, except we are swapping out, I believe, the Rylai's and Jak'Sho for Rocket Belt Rylai's, and then swapping out Death Cap for Jak'Sho. So with this, you will have a cheaper build, but it will be less AP. The benefit of this build is that you will have Rocket Belt to be able to actually catch range champions or just champions in general that are slippery. So Rocket Belt is going to also apply the Rylai's slow as well, which will give you the ability to hopefully catch up to them. It no longer gives you movement speed towards your target, but it is 2.5k for a gap closer, which apparently also will start charging your Liandry's and Riftmaker, which is super cool, but it does apply your Rylai's slow, as you can see right there, for a little bit, which will take you in range, and then you already have your Riftmaker and Liandry's starting to charge up, so that's actually really cool. I didn't know it would do that. Does it fully charge the Riftmaker? Wait, it actually fully charges your Riftmaker and your Liandry's. Like, that is crazy. Okay. Wait, this is huge. Whoa, okay. But let's not get too sidetracked here. This will be super nice to be a bit of a cheaper option. And then 2.6k for Rylai's afterwards. And then Jak'Sho to finish it off. And you could also swap this Jak'Sho with anything else that you need if you don't want to pay the full 3.2k. If a different item is better, like if they have a huge, you know, magic damage threat. You can potentially go something like Abyssal Mask or Canic Recurrent, which I don't have Canic Recurrent on any of these builds, but Canic Recurrent could be a super good option, especially versus champions that will poke you, that are AP. So your Syndras, your Orianas, things like that, because this basically gives you magic damage shield when you're out of combat based on your max health, which is, in this case, I would have an 825 health shield when I'm out of combat for 12 seconds. So you're basically just buying a Malphite passive, but for magic damage. Super cool. Very, very fun item like that I actually like a lot. That will be super fun to explore as well later into the 2024 season. So let's go ahead and look at our next build. The next build that I have on the list is designed to counter ranged rat champions. So again, Jak'Sho here last will be changeable with anything else that you need, but the nice part about this build is it is going to have two different options to give you movement speed and a slow to catch range champion. So you have Rocket Belt for the gap closer, then you have Cosmic Drive. Cosmic Drive, by the way, in Season 14 is amazing. Gives health and AP again. Not as much ability haste, only 25 ability haste instead of 30. It is the highest single ability haste item in the game, though, which is cool. And then you do have the new passive, which just gives you flat movement speed when you damage an enemy champion with an ability. Way simpler. No auto is required to stack it. There is no stacking mechanic. It's just damage with ability, get movement speed. That's it. And at level 18, it is 60 movement speed. At level 1, it is 25 movement speed. So we will have the ability to do something like this, right? So we can pop Alt Ghost and then pop Rocket Belt whenever we're getting into range. And then we'll have our passive plus Cosmic Drive and just be super fast. If I'm not mistaken, did my Rocket Belt just give me... I think my Rocket Belt just gave me Cosmic Drive. It does! Wait, that's super cool! So Rocket Belt giving Cosmic movement speed is really nice because it's just another way to start, you know, getting into combat and a little bit faster. Just pop my thing and then I'm already a little bit faster. Then I get in range, pop my passive, then Poison's on. Then I basically have Cosmic Drive forever, which is super cool. Yeah, that's awesome. But this will be really good against ranged champions. You can obviously always swap these around if you want to go Belt first, get Rylai second, get Cosmic third. So you have super cheap 2-item spike with a slow, Cosmic for movement speed, or you can even swap the Cosmic third for Liandry's third, right? You can always change things up if you need to. That is the beauty of the Season 14 item system, which is the same as the old item system, which we've never deviated from. I'm glad that we're back here, which is awesome. So that'll be a nice build versus ranged champions. Obviously, boots are always going to be situational. You can swap these boots out whenever you need for anything else. I just have Swifties there as a placeholder because it is Singe's most common boots. All right, next build is the full AP build, which I think you guys will enjoy this one quite a bit because it is, again, full AP. We start off with Liandry's Riftmaker. This is, again, standard core 2-item build, which you'll build with most of these builds, with a few exceptions, obviously. But after that, it deviates. We go straight into Deathcap third, which is giving me plus 193 AP with this right now with my ultimate off, which is crazy. Void Staff fourth, which is 80 AP and 40 MPen, 40% MPen. I think the cost is the same, though, if I recall correctly. No, Void Staff is 3k now, but it does give more AP, 40% MPen, which is cool. And then, so penetration in general is a bit more expensive. People are suspecting that tanks will be super strong at the start of Season 14 because penetration on both sides is a lot more expensive, harder to access, and there's less of it. Whereas tank items are about overall the same power level, if not a bit stronger than season 13, 12, and 11, except there's no more Divine Sunderer. So people are saying that tanks will probably be pretty good early on, which it gets me excited because Singed is okay, quite okay versus tanks. Especially with access to Liandry's and Riftmaker, I think Singed will be quite good against tanks, but we'll see how it plays out. I could be wrong. And then last item will be Zhonya's, which is now 3.25k gold, so very expensive for Zhonya's. The most expensive Zhonya's has ever been. But instead, it gives 120 AP instead of, what is it, I think 80 AP on live. It gives a lot more AP, it gives 50 armor, and you get the same old Stasis, which is a slightly new animation, if I'm not mistaken. That does look a little bit new. I could be totally wrong about that, though. Whatever, it doesn't matter. But yeah, it is 120 AP. With the ult on it, I have 880 AP. Death Cap by itself is going to be 220 AP. With everything plus the potion, I will have 947 AP, which is quite a bit of AP. Yeah, they are accounting, because Death Cap, the reason why Death Cap was made stronger, by the way, by 20 AP, is because they are accounting for Mythic passives being lost, where Mythic passive would give, for a lot of builds, quite a bit of AP / damage, whereas we have no more Mythic passives, so they're accounting for that whenever they are doing the AP level for Death Cap. So and I guess Zhonya's as well, right? So something to consider. But overall, decent AP, full build, 947, something to consider. Very good. You do have the double amplification as well. This will be a pretty solid full AP build. Full AP builds are generally what you build when you're ahead, because if you're ahead and you have full AP and you're Singed, your Poison Trail will absolutely melt stuff. You only have to be concerned that you don't get one-shot, because you will have a lot lower durability than if you had built a standard build, which has higher health and higher resistances, but you will have way more damage. So if you know for sure that you're not going to get one-shot, full AP builds are awesome. All right, moving on, we will have our first, I believe, tanky build, which is going to be this one right here. We will have Liandry's Riftmaker, then we're going to go straight tank after that, Dead Man's Plate, Abyssal Mask, and Jak'Sho. Again, Jak'Sho will be replaceable with a lot of stuff. All items on Singed are interchangeable, in my opinion, besides Liandry's, which you will need in every build at some point. Besides Liandry's, and even that only because it's like the best item that he can buy right now in Season 14, I think. But things will be interchangeable. Liandry's Riftmaker, self-explanatory. We will have Dead Man's Plate, which is 29, I believe, is it 2900 gold again? Yeah, it is 2900 gold again. Well, it also gives a 25% slow reduction. Same thing as Swifties, which also gives a 25% slow reduction, but they are not unique, so they are stackable. So you have 50% slow reduction, 5% move speed, 45 armor, and 300 health. I have never been a huge fan of Dead Man's Plate. I think now I will be. The reason I used to be a huge fan of Dead Man's Plate in the past when the stats it gave were bigger. It used to give like 450 health and like 55 armor, I think. So it used to be a much tankier item. But over time, they've made it the stats lower in exchange for giving it more and more movement speed. Like in season, I think it was season 11, they gave it the 5% movement speed. However, now it's also going to have slow reduction, which is in a stack of the Swifties is going to be amazing. So if you're getting peppered by, you know, enemy Victor who is popping his ult on you and just slow spamming you the entire time, or Cassio who is slow spamming you, you know, any champion that can just slow spam you, you can stack these two items and you will be a lot harder to catch. Obviously, you could also stack this with Unflinching, the rune, and get even more slow reduction, or Phased Rush and get even more slow reduction, right? So you can be very hard to slow down, which will be super cool. Again, armor item that gives movement speed and slow reduction, very dope. It'll be a lot better in Season 14. Abyssal Mask, this is just the most generic Singed MR item. We buy this because it is just super cheap, and you can get up to, I believe, I can get a ton of MR. So without any champions in range, I'm 177 MR. With one champ in range, I'm 186 MR. With two champs, I am 195. Three champs, I'm 204. Four enemy champions, I am 213. Then I would have even more if there is another dummy, but you only summon 4 dummies. So yeah, very cool stuff. And for each of these, their MR does get reduced. See, they have negative MR. They do get reduced MR whenever you are in range of them with the Abyssal Mask. It is giving minus 25. Oh, because it is reducing their MR by my bonus health. I didn't know it actually did that. Super cool. Yeah, you reduce their MR by a ton, and you get your own MR in addition to the 60 that provides. Super strong item, super cheap, just great for Singed. The reason why I suggest this over getting Force of Nature is because it is cheaper But something to bear in mind is that Season 14 Force of Nature is going to be quite a bit stronger in terms of just raw defensive power. It will give you the 5% movement speed, 50% MR, and 400 health, but it's going to give you up to 70% magic, 70 flat MR as you take magic damage from enemy champions. That's a lot. That's going to be 125 MR on one item potentially. So, yeah, let's think about that whenever we're talking about tanky build, because that will absolutely be an option. But the next tanky build that I have here is going to be the alternative tanky build that I have labeled. It is going to be Liandry's, Riftmaker, Rylai's, Anathemas, Frozen Heart, and Swifties, or any boots of your choice. And so this build will be just a very cheap build in general, because you have your core 2 items, and you're going to have a super cheap Rylai's 2.6k, you're going to have super cheap Anathemas 2.5k, and Frozen Heart is 2.3k. So the idea with this here is you would either put Anathemas on their most fed enemy member, or their singular AP threat, and you would put that, so imagine that's like a Syndra over there, then they have like a bunch of physical damage carries over here, like an 80 carry, and maybe like a Lee Sin or Vi, and then, you know, maybe a Pyke or something, right? Like these two, they have Syndra here. Well, now I have Anathemas on the Syndra, so I don't have to buy a full MR item, because this will give me 30% damage reduction against the Syndra. Well, I also have a super cheap 2.3k Frozen Heart against these three. It's a lot cheaper in season 14. It doesn't give you quite as much armor, but armor in general, I believe, is lower across the board. If I look at tank items, I believe armor is lower in general. 70 armor on Thornmail. So these are the 2 highest armor items besides Jackshaw, which might give you more. But Jackshaw is also 3.2k. Yeah, armor is lower across the board. Rainwind's down to 55. But in general, tank items do seem a lot better compared to what they used to be. There's a lot of MR options now, man. There's a lot of MR options. You have Hollow Radiance, which is magic damage Sunfire. Could be super cool. You have Canic Recurrence, Spirit Visage. You have Force of Nature, Unending Despair, which is just going to be AoE. Oh no, Unending Despair is this is actually a... It's like a second Sunfire. Can you stack this with Sunfire? It deals bonus damage to champions healing for it. Oh, it heals based on your max health because it deals damage based on your max health. Oh, that's so cool. So the tankier you are, the more damage you would deal with Unending Despair. That's super awesome. I don't know if it stacks with Sunfire, though. Can you buy both of these items? You can, in fact, buy both of these items, so I can just... Wait. So what if I did like... What if I did like this? Okay, so I could do like... If I want to go super tanky, right? Let's say I buy Liandry's. Oh, their team has a bunch of physical damage? Nothing but physical damage? What if I was cheeky? You know, then I would go Riftmaker, and then I would do... armor item. Oh, I wanted to do even more sustained damage. Armor item. Oh, I need even more tankiness. Here's a Branduin's, and now all of a sudden I'm gonna pair that with a Elixir of Iron. Well, guess what? Now my Hollow Radiance is gonna do an absolutely ton of damage. I'll go ahead and auto and get in combat. We'll watch the Hollow Radiance do some work here. There it goes. It's gonna start. Oh my gosh, dude, look at it just starts absolutely bursting them. Wait, that's crazy. That does so much damage, actually. And that stacks with Liandry's and Riftmaker, I believe, because, yeah, it is keeping them stacked. So even if I don't have poison going, I can just stack my Liandry's and Riftmaker with the... Wait, this could be a super cool build to try whenever the season starts, huh? That's awesome. What's the cooldown on this? So there is actually... Yeah, so it's every 7 seconds. There's no cooldown, actually. It's just every 7 seconds that you're in combat, this will go off and deal a nice burst of damage. That's cool, hey? Very nice, very dope. Let's see if I can actually get like a decent heal from this. Go ahead and drop a little bit of HP. We'll go ahead and put these dummies out, and then we'll hit them, be in combat. All right, how's the heal look? It's 333 heal per proc. Oh, that's a lot more than 333. That's just a lot of healing. That's super cool. That'll be fun. But yeah, like I said, there's not just 2 tanky builds that I have, because technically you could do a lot of tanky builds, which is going to be awesome. So bear in mind that could be an option as well. Moving on though, the last and final build that I have here for you guys is a very fun one. This will be super good. This is called the Speed Cheese build. This will be awesome versus any sort of range top laner, any sort of slow spam top laner such as, you know, Nasus, Darius, range top laner such as Quinn, you know, Vayne, Teemo, things like that. Gnar especially, as we awesome against Jace. The build is, we will start with a Cosmic Drive. That is the main core of the build. You do get Liandry's when you can, but because the nature of laning versus range champions, because you have to be so tricky, Cosmic Drive is the main first buy. After that, you can kind of buy whatever you need. So say I'm versus like a Quinn in the side lane. Well, maybe I don't need Liandry's because I'm versus a Quinn. I could maybe go Deadman's Plate then, or I can even go Rocket Belt and try and kill her. Or I could buy Shrelia's and just be super fast because Shrelia's is super cheap. Shrelia's is like 2.2k, right? Yeah, Shrelia's is 2.2k, so it's actually even cheaper than Rocket Belt. So if I wanted to just, you know, get a nice quick little gap closer or a little bit of burst of movement speed to run towards the Quinn, you know, I could do that, right? But the idea here is we're just stacking a bunch of movement speed. We have 5% plus flat movement speed on the Cosmic Drive. We have up to a ton of movement speed plus 5% movement speed from Deadman's. We have Gap Closer on Rocket Belt. We have movement speed on Shrelia's. So we could do something like this, right? So we could do Alt Ghost, Shrelia's, Rocket Belt, and then just run through. It's 1200 right there. If I were to get my ally dummies out, so I could get 4 there and 5 there, then I could do, let's go and wait for the Ghost to run out, and pop these 2, pop this, and get 1500 movement speed just like that. Yeah, you could do some very, very fun stuff with this. The idea with any sort of movement speed based build on Singed will always be to like to cheese out your opponent, right? It's not going to be the most consistent build when you're playing against standard matchups that are like, you know, standard melee matchups, because Cosmic Drive is never going to deal as much damage as Liandry. It's never going to give you as much survivability as a Riftmaker would. But the benefit of Cosmic Drive is you go fast and you have lots of ults. And that will always help you versus range champions, being fast and having lots of ults, right? To get in range of them, to kite them, make sure your ult is never down so you can't get caught slacking. These are all very important things versus range champions and versus slow spam champions like Darius. So if you would pair this with like a phase rush and you have a Cosmic Drive rush, all of a sudden you are going stupid fast whenever Darius tries to all-in you. Same thing with Nasus. If someone tries to all-in you, you just run away super fast. Also could be very good as a non-standard opener if you fall behind, because the faster you are, the harder you are to kill on Singed. And because this item will just work now with Poison Trail, no need to stack it or anything. Technically, you know, you could just buy this, and then you could have Swifties, and then you could be Singed, and just, you know, I don't have Phase Rush here, but imagine I did. You could just pop your Phase Rush and run away, right? Because you're going to get your Cosmic Drive, you're going to get so much value off this item. I have Fleet Filler here, but yeah. You get what I'm trying to say. You go very fast. It'll be a super fun item. It gives you a lot of ability haste for your ultimate. Very dope. But yeah, guys, wrapping it up, these are some of the builds that I have cooked up for Season 14. And then if you add the burn one, the tank burn one that I just found, that one could be on any Despair and Sunfire. That could be, you know, another one potentially. But that's also the beauty of this item system. Like, I was just messing around, and I already thought of another build that was not even on this list. Very excited for Season 14. It is in my opinion, Season 14 seems to be a return to form for League of Legends. Let's peep the Baron. Oh, he looks so creepy. I don't really like the way he looks. I don't like the way his head follows you whenever you walk around. But I think him being creepy is probably good. He looks like a shark, almost. I think maybe that's what they were going for. His main head looks like a shark. So not quite as cute or kawaii as the current Baron, but still that's definitely Baron. So yeah, Season 14 will be a return to form for League of Legends. I'm very excited. I think it's going to be awesome. I have not been this hyped for a League of Legends season in a very long time. Fun fact, if you guys go back and you watch the videos that I made about pre-Season 11, when Season 11 was on PBE, you can quite literally see the pain in my eyes as I was experimenting with Season 11 items. Looking back, it's really funny, actually. You can just see how much, like, I'm trying so hard to be positive there, even though I was not excited at all about Season 11, because they were, in my opinion, they were ruining animation, and I think Modern Riot would agree that they did ruin animation back then. But we are at a return to form now. I am genuinely, and I'm not joking, I'm very, 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 very excited about Season 14. I am quite literally counting down the days until Season 14 drops. So that being said, guys, thank you for watching. I do appreciate it. I'll catch you in the next one. Mwah. Peace, everyone.